Skies all open wide, geese go high and over. Oh, now you're a beachcomber, a fistful of sandfire, sea, lavender. See you next year.
Hello, and thanks for listening to the Deepdale podcast. It's August, it's 2021. Some semblance of normality is taking place. The campsite's really lovely busy with motorhomes and tents. Lots of people staying in the rooms, and it's been a lovely month. We've met a lot of people, we've talked to a lot of people, and there's a lot coming up in this episode. So I hope you enjoy our chat with Dominic at Wild Ken Hill, and you'll notice our first use of birdsong. It'll make sense when you listen, don't worry. Chris gives us a preview of the Deepdale Festival, which is coming up in about 6 weeks' time. Nathan and I chat in an empty grain barn for farm chat, and I'm pleased to say that harvest has begun, then stopped because of some dramatically heavy rain, and we hope we might cut some more today or in the next couple of days as the sun has reappeared, which is great. A massive thank you to Ollie from One Stop Nature Shop at Dalegate Market for giving us a local nature update. Yeah, we review the most wonderful album from Katherine Priddy, The Eternal Rocks Beneath. She's coming along to the Deepdale Festival, and we're really excited about her joining us for that. And the album is beautiful, so you can hear us wax lyrical about that. And she's very kindly allowed us to put in a sample from one of the tracks. We have a quick goodbye to Georgie and meet Nat, her replacement. Then we have an update of what's on locally at Deepdale. So enjoy the episode. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe on any of your podcast providers. And if you like what you hear, we'd love you to leave a review and tell other people about us. We're here just to tell people about the North Norfolk coast and celebrate this beautiful, beautiful part of the world. So thanks for listening, and please do tell other people. So we're standing in the middle of the wild area of Ken Hill. Nathan and I have come to get even more inspiration than we normally get, and we're with Dominic, and we're looking at what at the moment?
We're looking at a field that 3 years ago we were farming, and has since not been touched, other than the sort of the natural grazing brought here by the Exmoor ponies, the red poll cattle that we can see in the distance, and a bit of rootling from Tamworth pigs. Otherwise it's all just been left, and we've got a bunch of grasses and arable plants and weeds growing up, hedgerows around the edge sort of starting to spread out, and this is rewilding in lowland England.
It is stunning. It's very different to how it would have looked a few years ago, but I'm fourth generation at Deepdale. How many generations have you been at Ken Hill?
I don't know generation, but sort of 150 years, so plenty, right? Yeah.
So plenty of time to have made lots of positive steps and lots of mistakes, and learned from those, and you're on a very different trajectory now to where you were, just 5 years ago, aren't you?
Yeah, I think we'd had like 30 years of really good, solid management for nature at Ken Hill. Pretty sympathetic farming, but with conventional cultivations. Lots of areas devoted to conservation already. And what we've done in the last 3 years is just turbocharge all of that. So the farm has gone fully regenerative. We've created this rewilding area, and we've enhanced our marshes. And so our direction now is let's be as innovative and almost radical as we can, embed nature in the business.
And we've just been standing in fields looking at peas growing with barley and all sorts of other things, and you're feeling quite inspired, aren't you, Nathan?
Oh, it's brilliant brain food, and it's lovely to have some really useful conversations with other people who are very progressively minded and imaginative, who are just trying stuff out in farming. And it's really refreshing to spend time with Dom and Nick. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, and Nick was digging up and showing us lovely soil samples. He's headed off now and left us in the hands of Dominic, so he can get very excited about the wildlife. And is that a kite or a kite? Yeah, floating above us. There's blue skies. Last time I was at Ken Hill for a North Norfolk coastal group meeting, it wasn't much in the way of sky at all. It was just horizontal rain. So this is really lovely, and it makes the flowers and the colours just look absolutely stunning and really lovely.
What is quite interesting, Dominic, is that looking at this area, we have a situation which some conventional farmers would probably have a fit to see. We've got the sight of thistles and ragwort. How comfortable do we feel with seeing these things in the field, and do we just sort of we just have no choice but to let them go for it?
I think the nice thing for us is that we're not the first people to rewild in lowland farmland in England. So we have the great example at Knepp in Sussex, which was doing this 15 to 20 years ago, and we kind of know that it's going to sort itself out. So nature, the plants you're talking about won't in the long term succeed. We'll have vegetation succession, we'll have scrub proliferating through the fields, we'll have trees eventually, and those will simply outcompete these things. And that's not to mention the fact that I think one day you might just get a bunch of cinnabar moths turn up and hoover up a lot of the ragwort. There are butterflies and the caterpillars that will come and eat the thistle. So it'll sort itself out, and it's whereas if we were the true pioneers, the first people to ever do this, we might be quite worried right now. Actually, we're really relaxed. It's fine.
That's very cool. And am I right thinking that you've got two Tamworth pigs that kind of basically act as your natural ploughs, and I can't remember what the figures were when you'll refresh me, no doubt, but the fact that they just sort of slowly work their way around the farm and do that natural sort of turnover of the ground.
Yes, we've got 4, and they do 50 to 60 acres a year each of rootling, which is kind of like a light plough. And what's funny though is that they have avoided all of the farmed area within the fields. So the places they've rootled, it's exclusively been the margins and the headlands. So the areas that we weren't actually farming, the areas that we weren't cultivating or spraying, because in those areas there's just all for them to eat. They can't go. There's no roots or bulbs. There's nothing in the soil. It smells probably awful to them. They've gone around all the outsides where there's life in the soil.
That's fascinating. Okay, that's really interesting. So they can tell the difference just out of their natural senses. Nobody's having to put a fence up and say, oh, by the way, you can't go here. That's really interesting.
It would be amazing if we had pigs doing cultivation at Deepdale. I just wonder if we'd get a similar complaint from Stephen on our team, basically to say the problem with pigs is you don't get air conditioning or a radio. But I suppose we're just there. If we're sort of spending all this time fussing about all these sort of autonomous vehicles and robots going out on farms, actually you've got an autonomous cultivation machine in a pig. You just let them crack on. It's lovely.
It's wonderful, and I think the only thing you've invested in to keep those in is quite a large fence, but otherwise they're pretty much self-sustaining. Is that right?
Yeah, we check on the different grazing animals like most days, especially during calving. That's pretty low input from us, and we've put a big fence up, not a big fence, but a stock fence around the edge. It's quite long in terms of kilometres. We were well supported from that with Natural England, who have done a great job getting the scheme off the ground. And now we leave them to it. They have the full 1,000 acres to roam around in, all of them, which is, and we had satellite tags on them. They all ran out of battery, so now we don't know where they are on a given day. Just go and find them.
With Knepp, they have an output from Knepp, which is from culling some of the animals that they have on the estate. They're producing, I think I've heard the expression used before, default meat, which is essentially meat as a byproduct of the work that's happening here. Is that something that you're doing here or looking at for here?
We'll definitely get to that point. At the moment, we've got extremely low numbers versus what this area could probably hold. The reason for that is we want the vegetation to get away. We want scrub to emerge and wood pasture to emerge in time. There'll be a point where we start to try and balance that out, and we want the grazing pressure to kind of, keep things pretty level. And the herd size in that instance will actually increase faster than you want it to, and that's when you start to take surplus animals out. So we're a bit away from that, I should think. We don't have any bulls or males in at the moment, so we're at steady state.
So ladies rule the roost at the moment, and they're a little while before you start expanding that.
Yeah, we've got a few footpaths in the area, and we wanted some very sensible ladies around to, we've not had stock. We've not owned our own stock at Ken Hill for decades, my dad's lifetime. So this is a real learning journey for us. Our own stock, organic stock. And so let's get small numbers, ladies only. Let's work out how they behave and how to work with them, and then in time we'll come and make some calves and some foals and all that stuff.
And what scrub species are you expecting to see colonising an area like this? I mean, we're looking at hawthorn or salix, or what's going to be coming in?
Unfair question.
We've got a lot of hawthorn in our hedgerows, and I think we'll see a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
There'll be blackthorn. There's some parts with elder and alder. There's lots of kind of sallow regeneration already. So yeah, we're unlike Knepp in the sense that when we started, we've got 500 acres of woodland and a bunch of pretty well managed hedgerows, big hedgerows throughout the rewilding area. I think it's going to scrub up really quite quickly. There's a lot of source vegetation.
Yeah. And so does that mean, with the rewilding, does that mean you're kind of basically not doing any work to the hedges and stuff like that? So they're going to just be left to their own devices, and you're not planting anything. You're just letting it naturally come up from starting with the arable weeds and then just growing from there, basically.
Yeah, I think it's really important. I think natural regeneration should be the sort of default method of growing a woodland. You don't need to plant them where there's lots of source vegetation around. We've got amazing trees here. It'll plant itself. We manage the deer. That's an intervention we'll never be able to get away from. There's nothing to stop the proliferation of muntjac other than ourselves.
And the A149 Coast Road traffic is we've noticed is helping significantly in our area, not necessarily in the right way.
Yeah, a lot of roadkill. Don't take that stuff home for dinner.
And in terms of the whole farm, am I right in thinking about 3,000 acres, 4,000 acres? Okay, and so 1,000 of that's gone into rewilding, and then is the rest all organic? How does it work?
1,000 acres of rewilding, which is an organic system now. We've got about half the farm is being farmed regeneratively, so it's not actually an organic system, but it's sort of heading that way on a journey, and maybe one day we'll choose to be organic, or maybe we won't. And then the rest is kind of made up of different kind of areas of other sorts of conservation, so not rewilding, but sort of maybe more old school active types of conservation. So we've got a wetland of about 500 or 600 acres. We've got the chalk stream, river valley, River Heacham. That's rather lovely. And then sort of woodlands and whatnot dotted around, and that's kind of the composition of Ken Hill.
Got you. And what size team do you have running at 4,000 acres?
We're about kind of 6 or 7 full time, and then the team shrank for decades. And last year we hired someone for the first time full time, forever, which was a new ecologist to help with the embedding of nature, I suppose, into what we do. But then what we've also had is we've got a lot more part-time help and a lot more volunteer help, both with kind of management and things like communications and some of those, areas where a traditional estate team just does not have any capability. We've got amazing woodmen and arable craftspeople and foremen, but we didn't have someone who could do a social media account. So we've got some help with that now for sure.
Excellent. Anything else you want to ask?
Well, so obviously we need to just talk briefly about sea eagles. So you've been working with the Roy Dennis Wildlife Foundation, and you've just had approval for reintroduction of white-tailed eagles to Ken Hill. We
do. We have a licence granted from Natural England to reintroduce the white-tailed eagle over the next 9-10 years to Eastern England. We'll hopefully do a small number of birds each year. And over time, some unfortunately they do just perish naturally. But we'll hopefully build up basically a small but viable breeding population on the east coast, maybe sort of 6 to 10 pairs, and they should be like really basically a magnificent thing to see. in the sky, and will be a great aspect to nature recovery and bring people in. And we need a really grassroots movement if we're going to make change on this front. So hopefully it'll be quite inspiring to people.
So lots of people have seen Ken Hill on Springwatch, and fingers crossed they'll be seeing it again on the BBC at other times. But if they wanted to come and see what you're doing here, how can they get involved or come and see it?
So this year 2021 we've started a set of guided tours there with our ecologist or with some other experts, and they're usually kind of 2 to 3 hours, really lovely walk around Ken Hill, and it's an experience. So we hear and we see and we smell what's going on in nature, and we learn about the work that we do here, and those have been really popular and a great way of getting started. We also have got a few public footpaths in the area. Ken Hill Circular Walk, Google that, and more to come in the future. Hopefully some overnight accommodation, visitor centre, this sort of stuff. So exciting times for us. We've got a lot done on the ecology front, and on the farm side we're moving things forward, and now we've got to get the other part of our business sorted so that we've got a sustainable kind of set of income in the long term.
So if they want to find more information, what's the web address that they can head to?
www.wildkenhill.co.uk, all one word, Wild Ken Hill, and plenty of info up there, so come and take a look.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Dominic. This is wonderful to be here, and it's nice to be out of the farm again and standing in someone else's farm. It's lovely. A nod from Nathan. That's brilliant. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
So I'm sitting in my spare room. Chris is sitting at home, and we've both been working on the festival today. Chris in between a whole heap of other things that he's been dealing with at Deepdale. Me, I've been talking to stall holders and all of that kind of thing. And we're kind of getting carefully excited, I think was the word you used, wasn't it? And we, very much hoping that with 6 weeks or so to go, that the Deepdale Festival at the end of September happens in the way that we planned. And you have put together the most amazing lineup already, and we've still got quite a lot more stuff to announce and acts to tell people about. So wax lyrical, get excited about the programme that you always do get massively excited about. Tell us what you're looking forward to most, and what's excited you about who's kind of said yes to your invitations.
Well, yeah, I am excited. I think sort of it's been easy to not get excited about it because we haven't been sure that we're going to go ahead and do it or be able to go ahead and do it. But I am now thinking that we are, and refocusing on all of these wonderful musicians that we've got booked, rebooked, carried over from last year to come and play for all of our customers and our guests. It is exciting in itself, and I'm looking forward to absolutely everybody that we've got coming to play. It's quite amazing, really. I'm really, really looking forward to it. Can't quite believe we're getting to the point of really going ahead with it after everything that's happened over the last year and a half, but it looks like we are. And so, we are obviously, massively looking forward to hosting Martin Simpson, who is just amazing, absolutely, top of the tree in terms of what he does and has been doing for many years, and he's just still at the top of his game. He's watching his live stuff through lockdown, and it's just amazing. He'll be fantastic on the Sunday. Three Daft Monkeys as well, finishing it off with a jump around for the people who are with us on Sunday. Yeah, Sunday's program is fantastic. But even before that, on Sunday, Sunday, you could say Sunday's the day to be there, but then you'd be wrong because the other 2 days are the days to be there as well. But Sunday is fantastic because you've got
3 days, in fact.
Yeah, but you've got Katie Doherty and the Navigators Sunday afternoon, sort of. You've got Alden, Patterson and Dashwood, which fantastic, Norfolk trio. You've got the Drystones, who are unbelievable. You've got to see the Drystones. You've got Katie Spencer on Sunday. We love Katie. You've got the Shackleton Trio on Sunday, and you can't beat the Shackleton Trio for Norfolk folk. Then you've got Martin Simpson. Then you've got Three Daft Monkeys. So if you're not there on Sunday, right to the end, you are crazy, absolutely crazy. So yeah, I am pretty excited about Sunday. And there are more on Sunday. So yeah.
You realise we've done this Ask About Face because we're talking
yeah.
Sunday. We're sort of doing. We're going to have to roll back now and sort of work away. Now we're going to have to do Saturday, then Friday, then Thursday evening because Thursday evening is exciting too. So
Yeah, well, I mean, Saturday is wonderful as well. I don't know whether you've seen a recent post from Kirsty Merrin and Ben Walker about their new project, and they're going to be playing it in the church for us on Saturday afternoon, which is going to be fantastic. We've got the Goat Roper Rodeo band coming over for Saturday evening. We've got Cutthroat Francis, we've got Lucy Grubb Band, and we've got Bleeding Hearts blasting out the Brick Barn on Saturday evening. So Saturday's going to be a full-on day. Sorry, I was just having a sip of wine there because it's been a long day. It's been a long day. Saturday is going to be a core day, and Friday, which we've often before seen as sort of the introductory day, the arrival day, actually isn't now, because Thursday night we've got our very good friends Man the Lifeboats coming to open the festival, which we're obviously very grateful and hugely excited about hosting them, because we missed having them for our Beltane festival back in May last year because of the lockdown. And it's great that they're coming along to really kick us off with a stomping, jumping bang. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then on Friday, we've got Bend Any Mo, we've got Ebb Tide, we've got Fire coming up from London. And then we've got two cracking Norfolk bands back at Deepdale to really get us dancing around. We've got Mammal Not Fish, and we've got Little Red Kings. And so I don't think you can really beat that. I really don't think you can beat that. There'll be a few more coming on by the time we get there, now that we finally think we can do it. But I'm hugely excited. I'm double jabbed and I'm ready for it, really.
Yeah, it's going to be so nice having live music in the Brick Barn again. It's so exciting.
Oh, God, it's been so long, and I've had a very, very, I wouldn't say difficult, but up and down relationship with music through the whole of these 18 months. And there have been times when I've really struggled to listen, struggled to find it a help. And then there have been other times when it's all I've had to keep me going. And talking our vinyl collections with my old school friends, WhatsApp group that we set up during lockdown, just helped us reconnect and get us through. And it's things like that have really helped get us through and get us to this point. And lockdown live sessions are great, but you just can't beat live music, and I haven't seen any for so long. And our first festival back is us going to be going to Moseley, where we are going to have the pleasure of seeing our sort of last major sort of sign up for the festival, Katherine Priddy. We're going to Moseley. She's playing there this year, and we are very, very pleased that she's agreed to play Deepdale as well. So
that's very, very exciting.
It is really, really fantastic, because I remember seeing her 3 years ago. God, I've lost track of time with all this stuff, but I'm pretty sure it was 3 years ago when we saw her at Moseley playing and promoting her EP, Wolf. And I thought that was wow then. And the new album, her debut sort of full-length album that's out, is stunning. It's a stunning album, and I think we're going to be talking about that a little bit later. But
don't enthuse about that just yet. We're not quite easy recommendations yet.
Oh, okay. No, sorry about that. Okay.
No, don't. Yeah, you're jumping ahead again. It's just I can't keep control of this. It's crazy. So in terms of the layout of the festival, we're not dramatically changing anything from from 2019, but we're having a bit of a shift around, aren't we? So we've got a bit more space for people in the brick barn and courtyard. So we're using the orchard stage, the brick barn stage, and the church, and then we have a small acoustic stage in the orchard, which we'll use sort of in between the larger bands, just to kind of keep people entertained and moving on in between the bands.
Yeah, we're going to use the orchard a bit more because it is more of an outside space, and we can create a bit more space in general around the festival, and between the acts over in the brick barn, and just give people the opportunity to have a bit more space. Generally, I think that people are going to have a huge amount of quality music still to appreciate through the weekend. It'd just be nice to see all the people. We know so many of the people who are coming to the festival, and it will just be so great to see them again, around some fantastic live music, some great beer from Moongazer Ales, and just to spend a weekend when, I know we'll be working really hard, but actually just to spend a weekend around doing what we love doing and haven't done for a long time.
No, it's going to be great. And sort of fitting together all the sort of the smaller bits that kind of make the festival experience around the program has been really fun today. It's really felt like I've actually we are putting together the event rather than just a poster with a bunch of names on. It feels like the event is sort of piecing together, confirming up everything with the marquee hire guys, and agreeing with plans for the bar, and talking to caterers, and all of that kind of thing has been really really nice. And so I'm really pleased the Stargazers have confirmed that they're going to be with us on Saturday and Sunday, so people will be able to wander up and have a look at the thing, and they're just so good at explaining what you're looking at up in the night sky. So fingers crossed for clear skies.
I was going to say, you've booked the weather forecast for that one, have you?
I fully comprehend that 2019 was not hugely conducive to Stargate. But 2021, simply because we're owed,
we are due one.
That we are owed, sort of a clear skies. It doesn't have to be particularly hot, but just clear skies and nice weather for sitting in a field, listening to great music and drinking some great beer would be lovely. Would be really lovely.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. Yeah, it'll be fantastic.
Yeah, and we're working out yoga sessions and massage and lots of great street food, and it's going to be fun, and it's going to be great to have everybody back at Deepdale doing all of that sort of stuff. It's going to be really lovely, and the shops are excited and the team are excited. So
it is, and I think we're very lucky as well, because we are quite a small event. We might punch above our weight a bit in terms of the music and the acts that we host, but we're quite a small event, so we're very lucky with our suppliers as well, that we haven't got these big issues of massive upfront costs that we've got to commit to right now. If we had those, would we be absolutely confident? I'm not sure. So it's great. It is great because we can do this. And I'm looking forward to us doing it. So
It's going to be great. So if you need any more information on the festival, I'm afraid at the moment all the accommodation is booked at Deepdale, but we have got a waiting list. You're very welcome to join that. You give us a call on our usual telephone number 01485 210 256. We are selling day tickets, so if you're staying locally or live locally and you want to you want to book those, then you're very, very welcome. And that's all available on deepdalefestival.co.uk. Take a look. There's more information about each of the bands. I've put in YouTube videos and their social media links and photos. And in due course, there will be a bit of text about each of them as well. But we've kind of been quite busy and we haven't got around to writing that yet. So, give us time, it will be. But, basically everything happens on the 23rd, the 24th, the 25th and the 26th of September. It is going to be a fantastic weekend, huge amounts of wonderful live music. And you come and join us. We would love to have you with us. Absolutely love to have you with us. Thank you, Chris.
Farm Chat with
Jason and Nathan are the dynamic duo from the wonderful Deepdale Farm on the North Norfolk coast.
It's Farm Chat, and I am standing in a rather echoey barn with Nathan, and we are standing in what is an empty barn at the moment because we're hoping maybe tomorrow we're going to start putting stuff in this barn. It's quite exciting, isn't it?
Well, with any luck, we're going to start putting stuff in it. We'll see. I mean, assuming we start cutting tomorrow, there'll be some barley on the floor.
If there's anything in the field. But we think there's a little bit in the field. It's just maybe not quite as great as we would have hoped. But, that's okay. It's first year. It went straight in after winter wheat, which went straight in after other things. And it will be what it is. It's going into, those same plots are going into 2-year clover lay next, aren't they? So that's going to be... The field is going to be going, I'm
just awkward pause after that fairly disturbing sound. 2-year clover lay, uninterrupted 2 years of fertility building, possibility of some grazing, lots of organic matter, leaving them alone as far as possible. It's the reset in our rotation. It's where we get to the end of our crop rotation and we basically say, okay, now you get to snooze for a couple of years. And we've got a lovely mix of clover and lucerne and black medic, which is a sort of a short little squat clover, also known as hop clover. And that's just going to sit there for 2 years. And it's going to provide loads of resources for pollinators. So it's a great resource for bees and hoverflies and all sorts. But also it is just sat there, basically fixing nutrition in the soil. And the barley crop that we've got on the field at the moment is not fantastic. So the fields definitely need a bit of a rest after this.
Yeah, so this is, as we've already explained, is our beginnings of our cold turkey. So our land has had sprays and bottles and all sorts of other interesting things added to it. And it's now is the time where we're having to sort of wean it off all of that sort of drug habit. And so what we get this year, we will be very pleased to get, and we have to keep reminding ourselves that we don't have to compare what we get this year with what we've had in previous years, because it's very different, and we're in a 5-year process to kind of repair the soils, and so it's just going to take time. And sometimes when you're standing there, you have to kind of remind ourselves. But once the crop is in the barn, and we'll be very happy, and it'll look nice, and it'll make us feel a lot more like we're in the right place.
That would be the idea. The combine's got some work to do, and our grain cleaner's got some work to do. There are weeds in the crop. The crop is not great. It's thin. It's short. We're not going to get a huge amount of straw. So probably what we'll do is the combine harvester sorts out the crop inside the machine, basically threshes the grain out. And we've got the combine harvester at the moment set up to chop all the straw and chuck it back on the field, because we can at least just return that organic matter to the soil, and we can let that sort of mulch down and break down over the next sort of year or two. So this crop's not fantastic, but it's a start. We've got to start somewhere, and the base that these crops are starting from is about as low as it could possibly be without all the cheating that we did previously by putting various different sort of artificial fertilizers and chemicals on. So it's only going to get better from here, we hope.
And as Stephen would say in his very northern accent, which comes out much more when he's being sarcastic to the two of us about our processes, it'll do. It's gonna be nice to have some crop coming out of the fields. We're in a bit of a race, as many of you will have seen. Quite a lot of farmers are being quite seriously affected by the interesting weather that we're having at the moment, which is one day beautifully sunny, like it is at the moment, and another day biblical rain. So we're going to try and get the barley cut tomorrow. So by the time you hear this, I'm hoping it'll be on the floor in the barn, and then we'll just have to see what the weather throws at us to get the rest done. But fun and games, and this barn is right next door to the brick barn that many of you have danced in to wonderful bands. Well, thanks for chatting to me, man, and I hope that the next few weeks of playing with the big machinery is fun.
Onwards and upwards. Here we go.
Cheers.
Hi everyone, it's Ollie here from the One Stop Nature Shop at Burnham Deepdale. I'm here to talk to you again about the wildlife that we can hope to come across if you're in Norfolk or visiting Norfolk during the autumn season, with a particular focus on August. Now, you're probably thinking, why has he said autumn when we're in August? Well, actually, for birds especially, we are very much entering what they class as autumn. Much of the species, or many of the species that breed here, would have finished breeding. They would have fed their young, which now would have fledged, left the nest, and a lot of these species, being migratory, would have already begun their journeys back south to southern Europe and to Africa, where they spend the winter. August is a very interesting time for birds, especially from further north in the continent of Europe, especially around Arctic Norway and also Arctic Finland and Russia, as they make their way further south as well. And a few of the species you can hope to see are the coastal areas of North Norfolk, species like spotted redshank, rough wood sandpiper, but also arriving wading species like dunlin, sandling and red knot, although they'll be in their grey winter plumage, getting into that this time of year. In terms of non-birds, we're looking at things like insects. July leading into August is actually a very good time of year for spotting large dragonflies as they take to the wing. Not necessarily always around water. It's obviously also a good time to explore the hedgerows and the country lanes of Norfolk in the hope of seeing those. And butterflies as well. One particular area I can recommend is a place called Warham Camp. And this is a very good area for spotting the very rare chalk-hill blue butterfly, which is a very dainty species and absolutely beautiful to find. It's also a good area for looking for wool brown and painted lady. I hope you found that useful. If you've got any questions or you want to know about the latest bird sightings, do pop into the One Stop Nature Shop at Burnham Deepdale. We've always got an extensive range of optics, from binoculars, telescopes, microscopes, trap cameras, all sorts of things for watching wildlife and bringing wildlife closer. Thank you again for Jason for allowing me to speak to you about the wildlife in Norfolk, and hopefully have another update for you soon as we progress through the autumn.
Music recommendations. As anybody who listens to the Deepdale podcast knows, we do quite like a music recommendation, and you're getting better trained in that when you're talking to these amazing artists about their wonderful music and then playing at Deepdale, you say, "Oh, could we feature you on the podcast?" Which is brilliant. Yeah. And thankfully, you asked that question of the most amazing artist, Katherine Priddy, and yeah, it's massively exciting that she's playing at the festival, but B, like the album is absolutely awesome. And I heard her on Six Music being bigged up by various people. I messaged you and said, we've got to get this lady to play, and you went, it's already sorted, man. It's already sorted. So that's just fantastic. And then Nathan bought the album. He'd heard it on Six Music as well. He got massively excited about it, saying it's an absolutely thing of beauty. So it's just going to be great. You're going to have a whole bunch of people just sitting there, kind of just in awe of her playing, which is going to be fantastic. So tell you're much better at this. Describe the album for me. Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot here. You describe the album for me.
Okay, I will. I heard or read. No, I read someone describing hearing it and talking about, Katherine, this sounds a bit like Joni Mitchell here and a bit like so and so there, and I remember hearing it when I first got it and thinking, and it took me straight back to Moseley in 2018 when I thought, wow, this is amazing, and I just thought, wow, this is amazing. This is Katherine Priddy. This is and it's a huge artistic step forward. I think it's a fantastic album, absolutely fantastic. The level of care and detail that's gone into the putting together of the track listing and the production and the time that it's taken to put each layer of each track together. When you listen to it time after time, all these different layers come through. It's a wonderful listening experience. It really is fantastic, and I would urge anyone who loves folk or acoustic music in this country or anywhere to buy it, because it is a wonderful record, and it is a record. It's a proper record. It's not just a collection of songs. It flows. It's very personal. It draws on traditional English folk traditions, and it also draws on myth. It's got the most fantastic set of instrumentation. They're not just all thrown in together. They are selected very, very carefully and perfectly for their role in each track, I think. Katherine will be able to talk about it better than me in terms of how it was put together, but it feels that way, as a sort of a sometime ex-drummer percussionist. The percussion tracks on these songs they blow me away. I was listening to it on the way home, and on Ring of Roses, the tone and the feel of the song, it makes the hair stand up on your arm. It's amazing. It's truly amazing. You've got to listen to the you just got to listen to the individual notes, whereas you might on a rock record be talking about riffs. On this record, you're talking about the placing of individual notes and what they signify, and it's truly lovely. Eurydice, Ring of Roses, the Isle of Egg. I just love them. Absolutely fantastic songs, and I can't wait. I can't wait to see her play them again. We better name check the album, haven't we? Because people are going to want to buy it. So it's called The Eternal Rocks Beneath, and it is out now. It has been out for a few weeks now, and it has been number one in the official UK folk album chart, and deservedly so, because it really is a brilliant album. It's a brilliant record. There's no two ways about it. It is a brilliant record, and I think the poetry of the lyrics and the way that the melodies are put together with the choice of instrumentation and the production and it's the care, having in a tiny way recorded, the care taken in recording this exactly how it's come out is very, very, very impressive. It's really good. I play it and I play it and I play it, and I just keep thinking, oh, there's another layer there, and there's another layer there. It's a little bit like watching The Detectorists, and someone's telling you that it's a comedy, because it isn't a comedy. It's so much more than that, and it's playing this record is it's so much more than what it looks like on the surface. It's really, really fantastic.
Although you can enjoy the Detectorists just purely as a comedy.
Yeah, and you can enjoy this album as a collection of songs. They're all self-penned, they're all Katherine songs. You can enjoy it on that level, but when you listen to it over and over again, it unfolds itself. It unfolds itself. It's very personal. The lyrics are very personal. The songwriting is just. It just blows you away. It really blows you away when you actually listen to the album properly. It's fantastic.
The shadows come. Brothers, brothers, you're too young. Little sisters' eyes are red. 10,000 brothers or more lie dead. But you're safe locked inside your head. Little sister, go back to bed.
Ring O' Roses by Katherine Priddy. So good.
So good.
We mentioned it, and Nathan immediately bought the album and rather liked it. So that's very cool. And you might have heard Stephen Mangan, the comedian, actor, bigging her up big time on lots of different shows like Six Music. He's a bit of a fan. So, Stephen, if you want to come and see her at Deepdale, you're always welcome. Always welcome.
Despite it being a crazy month with work, trying to prepare for the festival, anything else that's caught your attention music-wise or book-wise that you kind of want to talk about?
I think that it's worth definitely throwing in the fact that Alden and Patterson, Christina and Alex, have put out a wonderful album, which we hadn't got to talk about on the last podcast, called Hunter. and that's out at the moment and is very, very well worth a grab. My little copy there. And they've had I think they had a write-up this last month in the Country Farm magazine, of all places. But yeah, that's a wonderful album as well.
What's that one called? It's
called Hunter, and they've got a lot of live gigs coming up, including one as the trio, Alden, Patterson, and Dashwood. But yeah, that I would recommend that highly to people. Book-wise, I finished and then restarted The Bone Clocks by David Mitchell, who I love David Mitchell, but that's a really fantastic book, really fantastic novel. I'm now into The Shadow King. That's I'm a little. I haven't had a lot of time to read novels lately.
What are you doing, mate?
Because
you've had nothing on your plate.
Keeping or getting the campsite and the rooms business rolling again through the summer holidays has been something of a task, and it's and it has taken me away from festival stuff. There's no question about that. I'm now getting back into writing to all the acts and talking to them actively again. It's just so much to do, and there's been so much to get just to keep this business rolling, to keep all these people that we employ in jobs and paid, and it's it's hard, but it's been so. And the festival hopefully will be the culmination of this year back doing what we do, because it's got to have a culmination and it's got to have a celebration point, and for me that's what it will be.
And it's well overdue, isn't it? It's sort of a year and a half, and again, I was supposed to go and see Arlo Parks a couple of weeks ago, and I was a bit nervous about going, and then I felt really unwell. Luckily, not COVID, and then she cancelled at the last minute due to getting COVID, which was sort of gutting and pleasing all at the same time. Not that I'm pleased that she got COVID. I'd like to make that clear now before we get angry letters. But it just meant that I didn't have to make the decision about whether to not go, which was a thing. So, but I just was so excited about seeing live music, but at the same time quite nervous. And I think by September I'm going to be so ready for fantastic live music. It will be amazing. So Thank you. And I think so.
It will. Fingers crossed, touching wood. But it will. It really will. And it's a thing that we haven't done for a long time.
So we're sitting in the courtyard. You can hear the sparrows in the background having great fun, leaping backs and forwards between our newly re-roofed cart shed, which hasn't really prevented them from climbing all over it, and the hedgerow nearby. They're all sort of you can hear people wandering around. Somebody's in the kitchen. There's team walking backs and forwards, so you might hear the odd hello and a Spanish wave. There's lots of customers. It's really lovely. There's lots of motorhomes and camps and campers, and it's just really nice to have everybody here. Rooms are very busy, and it's sunny and it's blue sky. And I'm sitting with our back office team. I think that's the right word. Is that an impolite way, or is it you happy with that description?
I feel like it's accurate. Accurately describes how we're feeling today.
The White House team.
The White House team. Yeah, that excellent. The White House team. That's good. So, I'm sitting here with Georgie, who many of you have heard on the podcast before.
Hello.
And Natalie, who you haven't heard on the podcast before. And Georgie is departing. She is disappearing off to be a reprobate student.
I was about to say this is going to be a really emotional final podcast, and then you said that. I was like, oh, okay. Never mind. The reprobate student.
I'll cry later. So you're looking forward to your next step?
So looking forward to it. Now it's just around the corner, so I start in just over a month, and it's starting to feel a bit more real because now Natalie's here, so I don't feel quite so immersed in what's going on at Deepdale because I've got a lot of support with her, so I'm able to focus a little bit more on the next step. So yeah, I'm really excited. Not nervous at all, just really excited.
That'd be great. And so when does term start?
It's the 13th of September, Monday the 13th of September. So there's a lot to sort out before then. But I'm just excited about it all because I'm literally picking up my entire life and just putting it about 70 miles in a different direction. And I love Cambridge. I'm really, really excited. So, yeah.
No, it'd be great. It'd be fantastic, and you'll have a great time. And I'm very jealous of being a student again. I did enjoy it, although I'm possibly slightly older than I was then, so I'm not sure my liver or my brain would cope with it anymore. It's great, and welcome to the podcast because you're a podcast virgin, and welcome to Deepdale. How are you feeling?
Thank you, Jason. I'm just very busy at the moment trying to harvest Georgie's mind.
Harvest?
Yes. But it's all slowly sinking in. Really enjoying it. It's a beautiful environment and probably one of the friendliest teams that I've ever worked with.
Oh,
well, that's nice to hear. That's very good.
I was pinching her when she said that. Did you? You heard that? Oh, it's really friendly. I love it.
Well, it's I think we've always tried to kind of keep it as informal as you can. There's a limit to how much you can do that when you've got to run a business, but the whole idea is to try and have a friendly, happy working environment, because actually I think everybody works much more happily at that point. And but I can only imagine that it's been quite overwhelming in terms of the amount of stuff, because I think Georgie occasionally, who's been here for a while, looks at me and goes, no, come on. Whereas you must be kind of looking at stuff and going, I have no idea where this starts and how this got to where it was.
Not so much anymore. At the beginning, you were, weren't you? Felt very daunted, and I'm sure you do still feel daunted at some times. But I mean, Nat was working up until quite recently. She was only working 3 days a week because she was finishing with her previous employer, helping them to tide things over without her. And now she's with us 5 days a week. I said, at the end of this week, your brain will feel like mush, but that's a good thing. She's flying.
My brain feels like mush most of the time, so it's nothing new. So what's your what's your background? Have you worked in tourism before?
No, it's a completely new field to me. I was actually an office manager for a data network installation company, which is probably a lot drier than this industry. So big change.
Yeah, so you were dealing with lots of people laying cables in lots of strange places and having to deal with that. And now instead you've got to deal with the difference between camper vans and motorhomes and festival tickets and merchandise and stock in the shop and all sorts of other stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely different field.
I think the thing is as well, you don't realise it until you're showing it to someone else, how many caveats, how many things we actually do. We've got the bike hire, we've got the shop, we've got tourism information, the hostel, the campsite, the groups hostel, the events that we do. So every time, and I really feel for Nat, because every time we go to do something that should be simple, I'm like, oh sorry, this one isn't going to be one of the simple ones. And because we're in such a busy time as well, we're in our peak season, it's definitely been a baptism of fire, put it that way. But you're doing brilliantly.
It does get calmer, I promise. It's this is the peak time, and you'll be sort of wondering kind of what all the fuss was about when we're in sort of January. Although I'm sure we'll find interesting projects for you to work on, but there won't be. Cash up will take you about 2 minutes, as opposed to great long sort of process. So it will get better. So welcome to the team, and I hope we'll if we can persuade you, you'll be involved with the podcast in the future.
Yes. I'd very much enjoy that.
You can't see her face, but I think she may have been lying.
That was the pinching again. She was a bit more obvious about it that time.
We'll work on you. Yeah. I think it's interesting. Like, a lot of the team are like, keep it away from me. But actually, when you actually put the microphone in front of them, they love chatting about their favourite places on the coast and all of that sort of stuff. But if we ask too long in advance, they just kind of find excuses to run away. Whereas if we just walk up to them and say, right, then it's fine.
Well, if you ask the person, everyone on the team has got something that they're passionate about. Some members are really passionate about wildlife. Some members are really passionate about walking or the views or food and pubs and things like that. So if you ask the right person the right thing, even with a microphone in front of them, they're quite happy to talk when it's, they're specialised or their favourite subject. So.
Excellent. Well, lovely to have you on the podcast, Natalie. And we are sad that you are leaving, Georgie. We're just trying to hide it as much as we can.
I'm looking forward to coming back for helping with the Christmas market and for trying to maybe grab free tickets to the festival as a veteran of Deepdale, and I'll help, and then just stand and watch all of the gigs. So I will definitely be back. I'm just not necessarily going to be buried in the White Office anymore. I'm passing that lantern to Nat, but yeah.
Maybe we can persuade you to come back as a dodgy student for the summer. One of those temporary summer team. You never know. Depends on how much, whether you start. You might be driving punts on the cam or something. It'd be great.
100% would fall in, so I'm not going to be doing that. But maybe.
Well, lovely to talk to you both. Thank you very much. May the sun continue shining. And I apologise that we're going to probably start harvest tomorrow, so you will have the dryer in the background. What's on at Deepdale? So what's coming up in the next few weeks in and around Deepdale and the beautiful North Norfolk coast? Well, we've got plenty going on, as there always is, from fantastic exhibitions like the summer exhibition at Gallery Plus and the art exhibition summer show at the Bircham Gallery. We've also got Go Discover, which is all the dinosaurs around Norwich. There's Dippy in the cathedral as part of that. Driftwood Glass, the studio next door to Deepdale, is doing their glass workshops all the way through the summer holidays. Just give them a call and book on to any date during the summer holidays. There's the Norfolk Creations Art and Crafts exhibition. That's down at the Maltings in Wales next to the sea. The street food at Deepdale continues with pizzas and Thai food and fish and chips. Live jazz happening in the local area with Triple Live Jazz, which is another event at the Wales Maltings. Lots of events listed on our website from them, so do take a look at that. The park runs are back up and running, which is absolutely wonderful news for all runners and plodders out there. Like myself, I'm the plodder, not the runner. So Holcombe and Hunstanton Promenade park runs are both on Saturday mornings, as all park runs are. And there are lots of other ones in Norfolk, so take a look at the website. I'm very aware that quite a lot of people like to come and stay with us and then tick off each of the local park runs. Highly recommend Blickling, which is my local one. Love that. Sheringham is supposed to have a bit of a heartbreak hill at the end of the run, but good one to tick off. There's a couple in Norwich and there's other ones around the county, so do head that way. King's Lynn Farmers Markets on the 14th of August. Holt Sunday Market happens every Sunday during August and into early September. There's VJ Day celebrations in various places around the county around the 15th of August. Pop-up shops at Dalegate Market continue. Lots of really lovely artisans coming in there. Take a look at the Dalegate Market website for more information on that. Lots of really, really lovely pop-up shops coming in there. On the 22nd of August, we have the Pantaloons back for their last visit of the summer with Wind in the Willows. Should be a fantastically funny family entertainment for a Sunday afternoon. That's the 22nd of August. Wind in the Willows. Definitely come and see that open air theatre with the Pantaloons. We're really excited to say that the Pantaloons are coming back in December with their version of Cinderella, which will no doubt be absolutely hilarious. So we'll basically be having a Deepdale Panto, which is very, very exciting. We will give you more information on that very soon. Next month, we've of course got the Deepdale Festival, which we've talked long about in this podcast, and very excited about that. Really hope that you can all join us for that one. Tickets are on sale through deepdalefestival.co.uk. And we've got another very, very much welcome event happening in October. We've joined up with the Slow Theatre Company, who are putting together Haunted Deepdale, and it's going to be a sort of a promenade open air theatre event with lots of sort of storytelling, and it's spooky rather than scary, but should be a great fun and really worth coming to. So make sure you come along to that. The information is available on deepdalehalloween.co.uk. Take a look on there. Tickets are on sale, and it should be a really fantastic event, and we're really looking forward to working with the Slow Theatre Company. There are lots of other events available. Please do take a look at our website. It's very easy to find, deepdalebackpackers.co.uk/events. Take a look at that massive database of events, and we're adding stuff all the time. So please do have a look and enjoy this beautiful part of the world and the amazing events that we host in this area. Thank you so much for listening to the Deepdale podcast. It is really lovely to have you with us, and it's fantastic that you find this podcast useful and helpful. We love putting it together. The whole Deepdale team are involved in various different ways. Would love your suggestions. Please do let us know what might be able to include, who you'd like to hear being interviewed, any features you'd like us to talk about, any areas of the coast you'd like us to talk about. Do send us an email at podcast@deepdalefarm.co.uk. Love to hear from you, and please do subscribe to this podcast on any podcast directory, website or app. And if you like what you're listening to, please do leave us a review. We'd love to know what people think of the podcast. We would even love it even more if you were happy to tell your friends.
Skies all open wide, geese go high and over. Oh, now you're a beachcomber, fistful of sandfire, sea, lavender, sea.